to watch that boring ass garden video.
You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood.
I'm late,
Niggas
but I'm always on
ain't from the
time.
hood. Hell no. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Oh, I lived in the hood, ass nigga. Never got put on, always claiming the hood though. Oh, you fucking with the homegirl, but don't come to the hood with none of your damn homeboys. They don't get a pass. Had a little homies press they ass for your tattoos. Hey, your mama waking up to some bad news. The plug saying groove, I'm a dime. I was long in the race, skinny nigga with the braid. Took a 2-man fade. I'm really from the hood. I took a fucking break to get my money right. But I was banging on the plane in the meeting with Jermaine. They like, poet, oh, you bang? They forgot where I came from. I was gang banging when it wasn't fun. Homie doing life right now, cause we don't ain't from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. So what? You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood.
Everybody on here is from the hood.
Hell no. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. And that goes for these hoes too. Start fucking on niggas and throwing these niggas hood up. Ha, little dot dot. Heard you gave a homie head in the trap spot. Got a throwaway in the stash spot. Boy, you not real, like a Sasquatch. Boy, I'm so high, I'm seeing astronauts. Boy, I ball hard, I need a mascot. Poet, and Swahili, I'm a Damu. My little cousin making paru. My nigga Uzi, he from Five Deuce. Pad blows, I be hanging with some real whoops. Gang signs out the window when we drive coupes. Making money with some crips like it's 92. Banging on tracks, banging on tracks. Back in my days, it was banging on. You ain't from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. So what? You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim to set blood, ain't from the hood. Hell no. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood.
Fuck Chris Brown, nigga. Pull up in the hood right now, nigga. Catch your fade, nigga. Fuck, nigga. Frogs.
You ain't from the hood.
What's up with it in the building? First of all, if you like these videos, you like these shows, or you like this live, you can go ahead and donate to your boy. You know, it's on PayPal, Cash App, or you can do it through the live chat. What's up? This is a very interesting show because this is going to get to the bottom of why the IRS is dangerous. Why they trying to get the IRS to be all in your business. This goes deep, and this goes into, are you supposed to pay taxes? Is taxes illegal? Right? I mean, what is it about taxes? Do broke people pay more taxes than rich people? Right? Where's all this? Do rich people pay their fair share? We're going to answer a lot of that on this video. Oh, we got a donation. Who sent me a donation? Pittsburgh. I got the Joe Biden. Pittsburgh Rick up in the house. Time sent me a donation. Pittsburgh Rick and Time. Be like Pittsburgh Rick and Time if you like this video. Send a donation, right? But first, you got to understand, right? Where's all this coming from? Where's all this economic shit coming from? You see Joe Biden, World Economic Forum, right? And we all know who the hell head of the World Economic Forum is, right? So anytime somebody speak for the king of the world at the economic forum, right? You got to understand that they're speaking for the world and not for the country, right? So when Joe Biden was on here, he was speaking to the world and not the country, right? And, right, it's getting deep, right? Now, I'm going to ask you a question, right? Now, the way to control a population, or the way to control a nation, right, is to control its money source, right? You control its money source, you control everything, right? Now we all know how and who control the money, right? And if you don't know how and who control the money, I'm going to teach you how and who control the money. Now, it's something about Joe Biden or the Democrats, because you can replace Joe. I'm not saying it's like Joe Biden, like he the brains of the operation and shit like that. We're using Joe Biden because he's the man in position of power. He's not the man with the brains, right? He's not none of that, and we know that. He's not in a position to be called the man with the brains, right? Because we know damn well. What the hell? The hell are my phones going off for? What the hell? Wait. Okay, we all know Joe Biden. We all know Joe. What the hell? That's crazy. We all know Joe Biden ain't got the brains, right? Any Democrat would have been in that position, would have been doing the same thing, and we'd have been saying that Democrat name. If it was Pete Buttigieg, if it was Hillary Clinton, right? If it was fucking Elizabeth Warren, if it was Bernie Sanders, whoever it was, we'd be saying that person, right? Now, but it's something behind the madness. It's something behind what they're doing, right? Now, how you notice you got to control the nation by controlling its money source, right? Now you notice there's been all kind of if you look at other countries, it's a test run, right? You look in China, right? The banking system went under, right? And China like, oh fuck it, you can't have your money back. The United States can do the same thing if they wanted to, right? Remember the protests in Canada when they said, okay, we're gonna freeze your money because you protesting and we don't like that, right? So if you hire IRS agents and stuff like that, right, they're gonna be able to control the money supply and tell you and see what you're doing, what you're not doing, and all kind of shit, right? But we're gonna cover that, right? Starting with the Canada. Why do Canada and the United States act the same like China? We're gonna get into that right freaking now.
Threat on this front springs from the distinct illiberal and external actors who equate their success with fracturing the liberal international order.
Penalizing Canadians at the pumps on purpose. That's because he wants to end Canada's energy sector, and so he's quite happy when gas prices soar.
Xi Jinping's China is a saga of nightmares. We told you about their banks in crisis. 4 banks in China recently failed. Depositors fear they could lose their life savings.
Michael, indeed such an extraordinary scene to see more than 1,000 people show up on Sunday morning to stage this rare protest in front of the provincial branch of the country's central bank, demanding their money back.
Demanding their money back. And you see how, right, how Canada policies line up just like ours. Energy, gas, all of those shit lined up just like ours. Remember, we had central banks in the United States before that failed, right? The central bank right now was a plan, right? It was a corrupted plan, right? But we had central banks in the United States before that failed, right? Now China got a central bank that's failing right now. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody over there eating no noodles. You know what I'm saying? You can't feed your cats. You can't feed your dog. You can't feed your fish. You can't feed none of that. Remember, they got people all locked inside the building screaming, hey, we some hungry motherfuckers up in here. Help us out. We need water and all that shit, right? Electricity. Can we take a bath? Right? Then they kidnapping people, taking them to concentration camps and shit, right? You got all that shit, right? Canada stopping the truckers, right? You got all that shit going on.
The fact is, a carbon tax does nothing but increase the cost of gas and everything else.
They have been protesting. Guess what the government did? Unleashed military tanks. You know what they say about history repeating itself?
History repeating itself, right? You don't need no military, right? When you got the IRS. IRS is worse than the military, right? Say no. This is for more government control. More government control of your money.
China, protesters, tanks. Look at these images.
China rolling on their citizens. Get ready, America. That shit finna happen over here. It's finna happen, right? When a Democrat is right, because they already saying it, right? Look, they saying right now that, you know, I ain't gonna say his name because I don't want the YouTube people, you know what I'm saying, oh, you're doing something right. But right now, they're saying people getting mad because of the incident that happened on Monday. You know what I'm saying? So now they're like, oh, right, all the agents feel threatened right now. We gotta look out online. We gotta sponsor these threats. We gotta go after these so-called supremacists, right? They didn't say none of that shit about the judges and none of that shit about the conservative Roe v. Wade shit. But right now, everybody worried about their life. You got this dude, A.G. Gordon, getting on there talking about, you know, I have something to do with it. I signed it off, but and I can't release no evidence, and it's Donald Trump's fault, you know. But we have some excellent agents. We've been under fire and all this old shit. Yeah, you've been under fire because you've been full of shit, right? But they trying to be secretive, right? And I don't want to say the man's name, right? But when they say people getting mad and people are starting to do other shit and congregate and do all kinds of stuff, what you think they're gonna do? They already preparing for it. Well, I've been in touch with the such and such, and I've been in touch with these people, and we monitoring the sites. We're monitoring these people. Huh? It's going down. It's going to get deep.
But still, the Prime Minister wants it because he wants high gas prices, and he doesn't care that it's hurting Canadians.
Justin Trudeau being accused of tyranny for his heavy-handed approach to crack down on the trucker protests. The Prime Minister invoking never-before-used emergency powers to try and stop the Freedom Convoy after being pressured by President Biden.
Huh? After being pressured by President Biden. He the one told Canada to cut off the money source, the energy source. Remember that? You couldn't donate to Canada? Remember that? They was giving people money back and on PayPal and stuff like that, saying we're going to keep it. Then they had to go to court to get it back. Remember that? You can't support this. If you support it, we're going to go after your company. We're going to go after this. What do you think the IRS is going to do? This is the IRS job. Right? They want the government to be able to do it, but the IRS will do it a whole lot better, especially trained IRS agents, right? They're trained. I mean, where the fuck do you think they figure 87,000 IRS agents from? They feel to train them. They're going to take a couple of years, but they're going to train them.
Isn't it true that Canadians paying excessively high gas prices is exactly what this Prime Minister wants?
Oh, Father Russell, if you want to see Father Russell, this shit is going to be filled with so many truths right here, Father Russell. You know what I'm saying? It's going to blow your head off. I got it's about 10 different things on this video. We're going to get into the truth about Father Russell. You know what I'm saying? Good looking out the donation. It's about 10 different truths that are going to blow your head off, right? And I know for at least 3 of them, right? You probably going to know at least 7 of them, but it's going to be 3 of them. At least you're going to be like, what the fuck? I didn't know that. Right? It's going to be at least 3 facts up in this video that your ass ain't going to know. Huh?
The Canadian government also going after the truckers' money by threatening to freeze protesters' personal bank accounts if they do not comply.
Huh? If they do not comply, Father Russell. Remember that? If you don't comply, we're freezing your bank account. If you don't comply, we freezing your license. We're freezing your insurance. Huh? It's going to come here soon. That's what the IRS is for.
Mr. Speaker, the global pandemic and inflation caused by Vladimir Putin's war.
Huh? Vladimir Putin's war. The inflation, everybody can blame it on Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin, Vladimir Putin, Vladimir Putin. Everybody can blame it on Vladimir.
War on Ukraine has led to rising prices across the country and around the world.
This is about following the money. This is about stopping the financing of these illegal blockades.
Huh? What do you think they're going to do to Trump supporters? What do you think they're going to do to MAGA when they get to protesting? Huh? Oh, we won't. Y'all trying to take the vote. Y'all trying to do this. Y'all trying to do that. You know what? Y'all supremacists. Y'all extremists. Let's lock them down. Let's do this. Let's go after them so they can't gather up, because we already knew what happened on the date. We don't want that to repeat. Right? Because we already know what they're capable of. So we got to stop it before it happened. We online, we monitoring threats. Oh, yeah, I didn't monitor no threats on when a nigga was monitoring, talking about killing people online, going to people's house and all that shit. You didn't monitor none of that. But all of a sudden, we monitoring threats for the alphabet boys. They're trying to come after us.
If your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen.
Huh?
The insurance on your vehicle will be suspended.
Huh? You hear that, Tom? Editing and commerce take a lot out of work. All a little help. You right, Tom, because I edited the shit out of this. I've done some research on this, Tom. You ain't fucking lied, Tom. Watch the stuff that come out in this video, Tom. This video gonna have to be shared for anybody who want to attack the IRS.
Send your semi-trailers home.
The year was 1913. Woodrow Wilson was president, and powerful banking interests who had been trying for years finally achieved their long-term goal.
The start of the new war order. The start of the new world order. They finally achieved their goal. This happened in 1913. Remember, we had a couple of banking systems that collapsed, right? Remember, back in the days, you put your money in the bank and the bank can get robbed. That was your ass. It wasn't no, you can make up money in midair. Now you can make up money in midair. You like, you need $1 million? Hold on, boop, 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 boop. There was $1 million. When your ass had $1 million back in the days, your ass had $1 million back in the days. Right? You can walk around with no $1 million. You needed somewhere to keep that shit. So you kept it in the bank. But the bank kept on getting robbed. Right? So they had to, so some master deceptors and some gangsters have to come up with a way. How can we find a way to run the fucking country? How can we find a way to rule the America? And they started their plan
of a silent coup d'etat by taking control of the American government.
Taking control of the American government. 1913, we're going to start taking control of the American government. The shit is set up so cold, it's genius. This shit is genius.
I don't want to punish anyone's success. I'm a capitalist. I want everyone to be able to, if they want to be a millionaire or billionaire, to be able to seek their goal.
You want to be a millionaire or billionaire? Seek your goal. Pay your fair share, though. You also can pay your fair share on here. If you like these videos, you want to be like Time, you know what I'm saying? You can pay your fair share. If you want to be like Father Russell, you can pay your fair share, You want to be like Pittsburgh Rick, you can pay your fair share, If you like these videos, because this is the truth. Some gangster shit happened.
The first thing they did to accomplish their takeover was convince Secretary of State Philander Knox to lie to the American people and tell them that the 16th Amendment, the income tax amendment, had been legally ratified by the states.
Go ahead and lie to them. We're going to pay you under the table. Go ahead and lie to them. Did you know the taxes, the banking system and all this shit started illegally? The central banking system started illegally. It started illegally. Bet you didn't know that, did you? A couple of people didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Probably 8 out of 10 people on here know that shit. But at least 10 people didn't know that shit. It started illegally. We're going to get into the details.
When it was not.
The rich don't pay their fair share of the income tax.
The rich don't pay their fair share of the income tax. Why is that? I keep on hearing people say that. Right? I don't hear Republicans say that. I keep hearing a lot of Democrats say that, right? And as you see, this is an old video. You can tell by the child molester mustache, and you know what I'm saying, and the fucking hairdo. I don't know what kind of hairdo this is, but you can tell by the child molester mustache. What you call that? The poncho mustache. This is an old ass video, right? But it's not that old. But do the rich pay their fair share? But in order to make a point, I added in the old what the new. So let you know the rich and the poor been paying their percentages on whatever it is, right? Throughout the history of time. Now you can decide at the end of this video, is the rich paying more or the poor paying more, right? And is it fair? But we're going to break it down on why they pay more and why they pay less.
But all I'm asking is, pay your fair share.
They had, I don't know what they're doing now, but they had what's called a Market Segment Specialization Program, or MSSP. They would take different market segments, like ministers, and try to figure out how much money you were underreporting.
Underreporting, right? It's a whole lot of people underreporting, right? It's a whole lot of rich people not really underreporting, right? They moving shit around and doing something like that. But it's a whole lot of people that's making under less than $200,000 that's underreporting, right? Not doing it illegally, right? But doing it legally, underreporting, right? Because if you an athlete, you a comedian, or you something like that, right? You are, right? I'm gonna let them get into it. I don't want to jump ahead of the video, right? But we finna get into it on the differences on this shit, right? We finna get into the differences.
Because of this fraud, the American people were led to believe there was now a tax on their labor.
The American people was now to believe, because they lied to the motherfucking congressman or whatever, and he lied to the people. So the American people were led to believe that it was a tax on their labor. Did you get that? I mean, if America was to start all over again, right? Do you think the forefathers say we're going to tax your labor? And the free market society, right? Even before slavery and all that shit, right? They didn't even tax you for slavery. You bought them and they was your property. You didn't pay taxes on slaves. Oh, we're gonna you can buy these slaves like any other thing. You're gonna buy these slaves, but you're gonna pay taxes on them slaves every month. Every year you gotta pay a tax on your property. If this is your property, you didn't pay no property tax on a slave. You bought them and it was your property. Any other thing you got to pay property tax on, right? Because taxes goes to the bank, and guess what? Banks' money goes to the gangsters. Because this is how it happened. You got to pay the gangsters their money. Uncle Sam ain't no damn bank. Uncle Sam is people, motherfucker.
Let's take beauticians, for example. I'm going to audit her beauty shop. She owns the shop and she has some people working there. Based on the assumption that the IRS has that people don't report all of their money, but they like to put all their expenses on there.
Congress and the president are completely aware of this fraud.
Huh? The president and Congress is aware of the fraud because you know why? You know why? Because the gangsters were making more money than the congressmen. Remember, right? People don't think American government was corrupt. Hell, we started the banking system corrupt. Huh? The president knew it was a lie. The Congress knew it was a fucking lie. You don't think if the bankers paid their ass off? Huh, man, go ahead. We're going to send you that donation. Who sent me a donation? Sean. Hey, Black, checking from Kansas City. Oh, Sean, I feel it. Hey, Sean, is you a Chiefs fan? Because I'm a Raider fan. I'm going to have to mess around and block you, Sean. You better not say you're a Chiefs fan on here, Sean. Hey, Tom, let me know if he say he a Chiefs fan up on. They're whooping our ass all this time. You better not say you was a Chiefs fan. Pittsburgh Rick, I know he's a Steelers fan. We ain't got no beef with y'all every year. But Pittsburgh Rick, he better not be no damn Chiefs fan because Pittsburgh got a problem with the Chiefs too. Huh? Sean, drop that football team. Before we go any drop. Okay, we there. Okay, we cool. But Sean cool with me. He went to St. Louis Rams. We got it. He old school. Back to the video, Sean. You're looking on the donation, right? But it's a reason why they going after your money, right? You got to give it to the gangsters. You got to give your money to the gangsters. It's not going to nobody. It's not going to help nobody. It's not going to infrastructure. None. It's going to the gangsters. You got to pay the gangster. Uncle Sam, red, white, and blue. He wear a Crip, Bloods, and he wear a KKK. He every gang in America.
And it was even cited in a recent court case.
Huh? If you examine the 16th Amendment carefully, you will find that a sufficient number of states never ratified that amendment. They never did. United States District Court Judge James C. Fox. A lot of states never ratified that. Oh, so it wasn't really voted on, and a lot of states didn't really ratify. It was just illegal. The bankers, guess what? Paid that shit off. You got to pay the gangsters. You got to pay the gangsters. You didn't know that, huh? All the way up to 2003, they knew this shit was illegal, but nobody want to say nothing.
So granted, all her expenses are on the tax return, and I figure out how many bottles of this and that she bought. I can calculate a dollar figure. So I'll tell Sophia after it's all over and we're buddy-buddy, I just shock her and I say, well, guess what? It looks like, based on my calculations, that you really brought in $80,000, but you have $50 on the tax return.
The bankers knew that this tax would ultimately end up in their pockets.
Huh? You made $50,000, right? But we know you made $80,000, so you're gonna owe that money, right? You're gonna owe that percentage, right? And guess who that money goes to? It goes to the gangsters. It goes into the gangster pockets. The gangsters is cold. They've been setting this system up for a long time.
So here, you owe the IRS back $30,000. What would she do? She would sign off on it. I only had 2 cases in 7.5 years where somebody actually bucked at me. People are so afraid.
Huh? People are so afraid. And guess what? The Joe Biden administration is going to make you a whole lot more afraider. They're going to make you a whole lot more afraider when they send them agents after you. Huh? When they send them boys after you. You're going to be nervous as hell. Huh? Because you don't have the money to fight them. You don't have the money to like Donald Trump. If the stuff about Donald Trump taxes was one of y'all on here, right? You wouldn't have the money to say, I want to block this, and you can't look into this. You don't have that right. You don't have the money to fight them. You have to do what the fuck they say. They say you owe 10,000. Guess what? You owe 10,000, and it's nothing you can do about it. They're gonna take it out your paycheck, and they're gonna make you sell some shit, right? However, by any means necessary, they're gonna get their money. You don't have the money to fight them. So who you think they fit to go after, right? Somebody who gonna fight their ass, or somebody who gonna give it up, right? That's like a victim of assault, right? Who you gonna go after? Somebody gonna fight your ass, or somebody gonna give it up?
So afraid.
We all hear statements like this during political campaigns.
And now I have a special message for the special interests.
The Democratic presidential candidates keep saying that.
Pay your fair share.
We want our country back for ordinary Americans.
The first one willing to say it to me was the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Pay your fair share.
Well, the rich do not pay their share.
That's a widespread belief. But do the politicians even know how much of the income tax burden the rich pay now?
The top 1% in this country pays very much less than 10%, very much less than 5%.
Well, we're going to take a look at that in a minute, right? Do the rich pay less than 5%? Because when you preaching that, right, and a lot of black people believe in what you say, right? Guess what? They believe that the rich is paying less because guess what? The black leader said it.
That very same year, the bankers committed their second and by far the most diabolical fraud ever perpetrated on the American people.
Ever perpetrated on the American people. The biggest fraud, right, ever committed on American people with their money.
And then these people start coming to me saying, I keep hearing that we're not supposed to pay tax.
What? You keep hearing we're not supposed to pay taxes? Who in the hell told you that? Who in the hell? Did y'all hear about that? Did anybody on here hear about you not supposed to pay? I ain't gonna say that, right? I'm gonna let them say it, right? YouTube purposes, this for education purposes. I do not believe in the comments or beliefs of nobody on this video. You know what I'm saying? Viewer discretion is advised. Disclaimer, right? I don't believe nothing she say. I do not believe you're not supposed to pay taxes. I believe everybody is supposed to pay their taxes, right? If you ain't got a dime and you're a crackhead on the corner, you're supposed to pay your taxes, right? Huh? Everybody pay their taxes. That's what I believe. I don't know what she's talking about, paying taxes. You shouldn't have to pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? It's not legal. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
Or I keep hearing that the tax law is a fraud.
By bribing senators to pass the Federal Reserve Act without the required constitutional amendment.
Huh? Ooh, without the constitutional amendment. So it was never amended, right? And you passed it, right? So what did that mean? It was a fraud? So does that mean is she right? When they say you ain't supposed to do it because it's a fraud, I'm not gonna believe her. I don't believe what she's saying. I don't believe what she's saying. I believe the tax, franchise tax and all that shit is legit. I don't believe what she's saying.
Okay, there's some people out there that actually think that the income tax doesn't apply to us, or it's a fraud, or it's being misapplied.
All in favor, say aye.
They did this during Christmas vacation, when many senators were home celebrating their holidays with their families. And that's how the unconstitutional Federal Reserve Act came into being.
What do you mean unconstitutional? I'm not going to believe that unconstitutional shit. The Federal Tax Act is very constitutional, right? You need that money. The federal government needs that money, right, to help America and to help the country, right? That's why the Fed's straightening out shit right now by hiring shit, lowering shit, right? You can't borrow, the Fed's running the country right now. Oh, we don't know what to do. We're going to ask the Feds what to do. Feds, can you help us? Yeah, we're going to help you. We're going to say, Lord, higher the taxes. Huh? We'll help you. Oh, it's not helping no more. Inflation is still high. Can you help us out? Yeah, we're going to help you. Lower the taxes, right? Then Joe Biden say, oh, inflation is 0. Okay, but how many times have you lifted up the motherfucking tax thing? 0.3, 0.5, 2.5 over here, 0.3. You done lift that motherfucker 5 times so people couldn't borrow and shit like that against the economy. And then you're going to holler about, well, shit done went down. No, it haven't. People are not borrowing money and spending like they used to. So inflation is breaking even. You ain't giving no motherfuckers as much free money and they not borrowing and doing the shit that they used to do. Of course it's gonna go down. You ask the feds 15 different times, then you're gonna take credit for it. Well, this is the well, I've done this by myself. Didn't nobody really help me do this shit? You know what I'm saying? I really done this by myself. Huh? How that shit gonna happen? Huh? How you gonna be? How you gonna? No, how the fuck you turn this damn thing off? Right? How you gonna be? You ain't done nothing for economy. You ain't passed nothing. Ain't nothing changed, right? The Fed done all the work. You done called Jay Powell ass about 1,500 times, and all of a sudden you want to take credit for it being no inflation and it didn't go up or down. Well, we at 0 inflation. No, nigga, we still at 8.5 or whatever, 9.1, whatever the fuck we at.
I've got this parishioner that just keeps bugging me about this income tax. She's talking about that we're not liable for the income tax, and she wants to talk to you. Can I give this lady your telephone number? And I said, okay. So maybe about 10 minutes later, this lady called me. She said, I have a question for you. Are we supposed to pay income tax or not?
They were very clever, and they understood that whoever issued the money for America would control the government.
Huh? Whoever issued the money for America controls the government. So you think politicians control the government? Right? They didn't control Donald Trump because Donald Trump didn't need the money. But guess who all need the money? All these other politicians. They lived off of it. They wasn't making no money before they got into politics. But soon they got into politics, they became millionaires. Guess who was a billionaire already and who lost money becoming president? Donald Trump. Everybody else gained money. You tell me who the motherfucking politician, the fake, and who corrupt is.
So a few weeks later, she called me again and she said, Miss Jackson, remember that information I told you on the phone? It's in the USA Today.
The bankers won, and the American people lost, because most politicians will sell their soul for $1.
Huh? And they will still sell their soul for $1. Joe Biden proving all the time, the big guy. This is how you keep on losing, because the politicians keep on getting paid. And then they're trying to take the only politician who don't give a fuck about the money to jail.
Pull it up on the internet. Okay, so I got the USA Today. It was July 7th, 2000. And it says, Dear we the people.
Dear we the people, like Marco say. Marco paying his fair share because he liked the facts in this video. Watch the facts she kicked, Marco. Marco always paying the fair share.
Most citizens are not required to file an income tax return.
Most citizens are not required to file an income tax return. I wonder why.
And now the Federal Reserve can issue dollars legally.
The federal government or the Federal Reserve can issue dollars legally because they was bought.
The 16th Amendment to the Constitution is a fraud, and if you file, you waive your 5th Amendment rights.
Huh? If you file, you waive your 15th Amendment rights. Let's get into the rich and the poor and the broke and the rich and the poor and the middle class. Let's do that, okay?
These 10 people represent everyone in America. This person on the left, she represents the poorest 10% of Americans. And on the right, he is the very richest 10%.
That's racist. Why they have to be black, Chinese, and Asians and all that old shit, right? And a black person, an Asian person at the top. That's racist. She is black and she's the lowest form of being. He is white and he's the richest form. That's fucked up. He's Asian. He's next.
What percent of income do you think the top 1% pay?
I think they're paying like freaking 2% of that.
They're paying 27%.
What?
27%.
So let's ask this group a simple question. What percentage of your income gets taxed?
What percent of income do you think the top 1% pay?
I think they're paying like freaking 2% of them.
They're paying 27%.
What?
27%.
As Mayor Rothschild said, give me control of a nation's money supply, and I care not who makes its laws.
Huh? Give me control of a nation's money supplies and fuck who make their laws, because I control the money. They got to come to me. You got to go to the federal government. So guess what? I make the laws. You don't.
The government and the media have gotten you guys so afraid of the IRS that you don't even buck them.
He knew that he and the other bankers would now control the laws of the nation.
Now, mind you, she might have left the money off. Maybe there was several times where she just didn't report the cash. And maybe that's why. Maybe she has no idea how much she quote unquote underreported. Maybe that was it. But they always acquiesce.
Government gave these bankers one of its most important powers, and now had to borrow money from them and pay interest to find.
Huh? You see how the gangsters done it? They done built up a banking system so cold that the government has to borrow money from them to fund the country. You see how they done that? The country, think about it. The government got to borrow money from the feds, which we are in tremendous debt with now, trillions of dollars, right? With the feds, right? To run the country. So everything we living on is borrowed money. We're living on layaway. How many people knew that? Like your money is not going towards your money is not going towards anything. It's going towards the debt. You are paying the Federal Reserve. You are paying the bankers. Huh? You're not paying the country. The country does not own the money. The country got to borrow the money to run the country. So guess who make the motherfucking laws? And you mean to tell me you gonna come borrow my money and you're not gonna listen to what the fuck I say? That's not gonna happen ever. Right? Show me who makes the money in the country and damn the laws.
Finance the government.
They got one, anybody own a laundromat? They have one that will calculate based on your water bill how many loads will wash at your laundromat.
Most Americans pay multiple income taxes to the federal government and state governments and local governments. But a recent analysis by two economists added up all the income taxes. And when you do that, the data shows that poor people pay a very small part of their income to the government, and rich people pay more.
To the government. I want y'all to pay attention because this is very important. It's very important, right? Rich people pay more money to the government. Poor people don't, right? So they want rich people to pay more money to the government, and they want poor people to pay less money to the government. Them that 3%, right? But they want these people over here to pay more to the government. Now this is only federal. This is only the government tax, right? We don't break it down, right? But as of right now, right, and see how they manipulate it, right? And it's gonna be easy to manipulate on why it's not fair, right? They're gonna try to make it say it's not fair, but I see a different reason on why it's fair, right? I gotta disagree with this video, but it's a great video, you know what I'm saying, to compare on what I want to say to, right? So right now, right, the rich is up here when it say income tax, right? Income tax, right? Remember this. This is income tax, right? What income tax means, you pay tax on your income. So people who pay income tax right here is way below right here, and people who pay income tax over here is way over here. Pay attention.
1% earn about 25% of all the income in America.
So there you go. If we're talking about fair share,
right,
then, you know, if you're bringing in 25% of the income, 25% of the taxes should also...
That would be fair.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
And would you be surprised if I told you that the top 1% pay 40% of all taxes?
Yeah.
This concept of taxing the poor at a lower rate and taxing the rich more, this is called progressive taxation. It's how taxes work in most countries. But it's also why some critics question whether these people are getting away without paying their fair share.
Would it surprise you if I said the rich, the 1%, pay 40% of all taxes in America?
Interesting. Would surprise me. Yeah. Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So a little more fair than you might have thought.
Yeah.
The middle class and the poor that pay, if anything, a lot less.
Why is it that 45% of the population of this country is not contributing back to the rest?
What percent of their income do you think?
Right now, he finna get into the bottom 50%, right? The bottom 50%, what do they pay in taxes? The bottom 50%, right? Right? We know the top 1% pay 40%, right? The top 5% or 10% pay 50% or something like that, right? So what do the bottom 50% pay?
People at the 50% and below pay.
Probably higher than 27%. It gets higher the lower your income comes.
Wait, so what do you think the number is?
I think it's probably over 50.
It's 4%.
Oh, wow.
The bottom 50% pay 4%, right? Because you got to remember, when somebody on welfare, when somebody on the system, they're not paying no taxes. They're not paying that. When people on the system, they're not paying no taxes. You're not paying taxes out of your welfare check. You're not getting food stamps back and paying, okay, I got this many food stamps, I got to pay this many food stamps in taxes. You got a set price. Huh? When you get a retirement check or whatever, retirement check or that SSI check or a Social Security check, you're not paying no taxes. The only tax you're paying is when you cash that check. But you're not paying no taxes. So the bottom 50% of people is not paying shit. 4% of the taxes. It's the rich is paying all the taxes. But watch how they switch it up.
Interesting.
That's a little more fair.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Man, yeah. I need to study up more on this, man. I'm not paying attention to actual numbers.
So what's fair? The top 1% should pay 10% of America's income taxes? 20%?
They should pay somewhere around 15%. They don't pay 5%. Anybody could see that as unequal and unfair.
But now let's add one more guy to this group of 10. This guy, he represents the 400 richest Americans, billionaires. Billionaires don't make most of their money through typical income, so their income actually gets taxed at lower rates than these less rich people.
Their money get taxed at a lower rate, right? Because they require lesser shit, right? From the bank, from the so-called gangster, they require lesser shit, right? So they got to pay lesser taxes, right? The gangsters want them to pay more taxes.
Would it surprise you if I said that the top 1% pay 27% of their income in taxes?
27%.
And the bottom 50% pay 4% of their income in taxes?
Really?
Would that surprise you?
Yes.
Does that seem more fair?
Yeah, it would be pretty fair.
So they should pay 15%, he says. And the richest 1% now pay less than 10%. Then he said less than 5%.
They talking about Al Sharpton on line ass. Oh, they should pay this. They should pay this. Al Sharpton putting his ass in a hole, right? And the dude looking at him like, oh, they should pay this? Oh, they not paying this? Okay, I'm going to hit you with this stat.
Now, you might be thinking, don't billionaires pay taxes in other ways? And the answer is yes. This is just the income tax. And there are lots of other kinds of taxes in America.
Right? That's just the income tax. So the billionaires pay less on income tax, right? Less on income tax than the average person, right? Even though they make billionaires, but you look at the average, right, they pay less. That's not their fault.
And this analysis, where this data came from, it looked at all those taxes. And it shows that when we add them all up, there actually is someone in this group who might not be paying their fair share.
But that's so silly because, and I bet most of you don't know this, the IRS says the richest 1% of taxpayers already pay 34%, twice what Sharpton wanted them to pay.
Remember, this is just the income tax. What happens when we add in all the other taxes? Well, let's look at another kind of tax, corporate and property taxes. These are the taxes we pay on things we own, usually.
Right? The things we own. How many things the average working person, right? That's a security guard at 7-Eleven, that flipping burgers at McDonald's, right? That's a waitress, or, you know what I'm saying, that drive buses, or drive that work in the stores, how many things you think they own? How much business tax you think they paying? How much property tax you think they paying? Right? So that's two taxes that the average person that's down there on the bottom of the tax pole is not paying because they don't own too much shit. The more shit you own, the more shit you got to pay taxes on. Don't pay your tax on your boat. Don't pay tax on your home. Don't pay tax on anything, business or property. They come in to take your shit. You don't have to worry about that if you're not paying no business or no property tax. If you don't own anything, you don't have to worry about that tax. Right? So it's unfair to try to count that against somebody because they pay property tax and business tax. Right?
Businesses and property, and the money we make on them. Usually rich people own more things, so these corporate and property taxes hit them the hardest. Rich people also tend to be from rich families, and when they inherit a lot of money, the government taxes them. This is called an estate tax. Put these taxes together, and it's clear that they place a much heavier burden on the rich.
That's all for ownership shit, right? It's not for no broke shit. It's not for working 2 jobs and getting overtime. It's for getting estates. It's for billion-dollar corporations. It's for having boats. It's for having property. It's for having land. Something that this person ain't got. But if he goes up here, well, as soon as he goes up, his shit goes down. Because guess what? He gonna have to pay more taxes because he gonna own more shit. That person right here don't own anything.
Including billionaires.
Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and The Rose with Bette Midler, many movies. I'm doing a feature film. And my film is about my quest to find out whether or not people pay income taxes.
The Reverend barely reacted when I told him. They're already paying 34%.
Add these back onto the income taxes, and it looks like the rich really do pay way more than the poor.
And the top 5%, those making over $125,000, pay more than.
No, I think that if you deal with the quality of their lives.
No, I think if you deal with the quality of their life, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They pay more in taxes because they pay estate taxes, property taxes. They pay all kind of other taxes. Taxes. Look, they pay more in 1 year than the average person at that bottom would probably not pay in a lifetime. So how can you say that person not paying their fair share?
He quickly changed the subject. He never would admit how far off he was.
So you pay the income tax, I assume?
Of late. Well, actually, no, I didn't file last year, but okay. I'm sorry, is this on film? No, I paid my tax.
My question to you is, have you ever seen a law that says you have to pay an income tax?
So here in the third column, it says no one has been able to collect the $50,000 reward offered by Bill Conklin to anyone that can identify the section of the Internal Revenue Code that makes a typical worker liable for the income tax.
Do you pay an income tax?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a law that requires you to pay an income tax?
Have I ever read it? You mean in the page, black and white? No, no.
And 2 weeks later, I said to myself, oh my goodness, we have a problem here. It doesn't look like I'm going to win this money.
Because there's nowhere in black and white or in ink that says you're liable to pay income taxes. Nowhere. Can't nobody find that? Nowhere, right? You can offer somebody $1 million and they can't find that nowhere where you're liable to pay income tax. When you're on the hook to pay income tax. So guess what? That makes the IRS illegal.
And I was sitting there at my desk thinking, this thing is a fraud.
I think it's actually unconstitutional, is what I've heard.
2 weeks it took me to sit there and realize that. I didn't just look at the positive, I looked at the negative, I looked at the IRS site. All these things are going on. This thing is a fraud.
Huh? Because how they came about paying taxes was a fraud. How they allowed Congress was a fraud. The amendment was a fraud, right? The other states didn't vote on it was a fraud, right? Everything about the federal government and the Federal Reserve started off as a fraud. There's nothing in the Constitution say you have to pay taxes.
What is the 16th Amendment? The 16th Amendment was passed in 1909 and then ratified in 1913.
Right before the bankers started taking over shit, right? Right before the bankers started taking over shit. The 16th Amendment. The 16th Amendment is not that old, y'all. it's rarely 100 years old. It's barely 100 years. I mean, it's barely made it over 100. The 16th Amendment, barely over 100.
The income tax is not legal because it would be a direct tax and it is not apportioned as the Constitution demands.
This amendment gives Congress the power to lay and collect taxes on income from whatever source derived from without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census.
That's incredible. That's truly incredible. I thought it was for infrastructure and all the other stuff.
Hell no, it's not for infrastructure. Your money's not for infrastructure. It's to pay off the debt.
Tax. For those of you who don't know what taxes are, they are any charge of money or property that imposed by a government upon individuals or entities that are within the government's authority to collect.
Well, it doesn't make
within the government authority to collect, right? Within the government authority to collect. Some of this shit is not in the government authority. That's why the IRS is illegal. They finna come after your shit illegally, right? Right? Because it makes no sense for them to hire all these IRS agents for taxes, right? And we finna get into the real reason on why they hiring all these IRS agents.
It doesn't make any sense because you would go after where the tax fraud is and where people, if you file a tax return that says you only make $100,000, but you made up expenses of $300,000, you're not going to get audited. They're saying, even by all these new auditors,
right? So what he's saying is, if somebody say they make $100,000 on there, and they file that, and they've been filing that, but they really making $200,000, $300,000, right? You're not going to go after that $200,000. You're going to go, oh, he's under $400,000, so we're not going to go after him, even though he owes $200,000, right? On the other hand, this other person, he makes over $400,000, and he only owes $20,000. So we're going to go after the person, right, that makes $20,000 because he makes over $400,000, and we're going to leave the person that makes $100,000 that's lying on his taxes and making an extra $200,000. We're going to leave him alone. Right, because even if he didn't cheat on his taxes, he'll make under $300,000. So we still gonna leave him alone. How they gonna get their money? Good looking out, James Touche. The politicians play with American taxpayers' money like it's monopoly. You damn right they do. You damn right they do. Like it's monopoly. Pass go. If you don't. You do some wrong shit, your ass going to jail, huh? You can buy up shit, but we want your money, right? They're not. It don't make no sense to target nobody, right? That's making you target the people who cheating the most. You don't target the people who got the most money.
Now there are federal tax, which affect the whole country, and then there are state taxes that affect only the state.
But if somebody makes $1 million with a W-2 paycheck and then does a bogus $20,000 charitable dog, you're going to go after that person? That doesn't make any sense.
But now let's talk about another tax. This one's buried in your pay stub. Look closely and you'll see something called a Medicare tax and a Social Security tax.
Huh? Pay attention. Medicare and Social Security tax, right? Medicare, is that federal tax? Right? Is that a federal tax? Is Medicare federal? Is Social Security federal? Is either one of these federal? Or are they fooling you to pay your motherfucking self and separate mine for yours? If either one of these federal, you got to ask yourself, is they federal?
Sometimes pay stubs call them FICA. Anyway, combined, these are called payroll taxes.
Payroll
now, what
taxes.
Is income tax? Income tax is...
Payroll taxes and income taxes is two different things. Payroll, right, is different from income tax. We just understand what a payroll tax is. That's Medicare and Social Security. What is income tax? Income tax is something totally different.
Money that is earned by people working in the United States. It doesn't matter where the money is earned as long as it is income.
Right? So if you're on a payroll, right, you don't pay, it's two different things. Money earned by anything. If you're in the United States and you're making money, they want the income tax. But if you're working You're paying, you know what I'm saying? If you're working, you're paying payroll tax. You don't have to pay payroll tax if you're paying income tax. That doesn't have to be included because you can pay your own medical, right? And you can pay your own retirement, right? Because if you're working for yourself or you're an entrepreneur, you can't. You're not going to take out of your own check to pay for Social Security and pay for medical. You're going to pay that shit. You're going to put your money in the bank and you're going to pay, get you a medical plan. You don't apply for certain shit, right? But the lower down you go on the totem pole, the more shit you need is Medicare. You know, you need extra help with Medicare. You need extra help with this. You need extra help with that. People that higher up don't need help with extra shit. So they benefits and shit run out. I don't need, if I'm making $1 million, I don't need to pay for no FICA. I don't need your medical care. I don't need your Social Security. I don't need none of that shit. I don't want to pay none of that shit. I want to take that shit off of my taxes. So that way you got to know the difference. If you working, you got to pay FICA, you can't take that off because who in the hell going to pay for your dental and your fucking Social Security? You got to pay it.
You want to go after the most bang for the buck, so taxpayers get the biggest return on this investment in the
Woo! It was that bluegrass berserker. I'm getting a return on this investment on this video. All taxation is theft. You damn right about that, bluegrass, right? And and watch in a couple of more minutes. We finna get deeper into that on why it's theft, right? And why what happens to thieves according to the Democrats and the liberals, right? We're gonna get into that. I'm glad you said that, Bluegrass. We're going to get into that.
IRS.
Medicare and Social Security are two really important programs. They provide health care and a modest income for when we get old and retire. But they're also expensive, which is why we have these payroll taxes separate from the income tax to pay for them.
But
Separate, right? You separate that from income. You see what I'm saying? So I get to actually save on my taxes a little bit more if I don't pay the payroll tax, right? Should I be penalized for that? Should I be penalized for that? Because I'm not buying into Social Security. I'm not buying into payroll and FICA. I'm not buying it. I'm penalized for that? That's theft.
But to avoid any hassle, I pay it.
So on your paycheck, you'll notice that you're taxed 7.65% in payroll taxes. And your company is supposed to pay another 7.65% on your behalf. But economists have found that in practice, the way companies pay their part of the payroll tax is by just paying workers less.
Paying workers less than they get your shit, right? That's how they protect themselves, right? They got to protect themselves because because the government is taking shit that they really shouldn't take. So if you didn't take this payroll tax for Social Security, right, and medical, right, guess how much the wages will be higher because then the employer can pay a higher wage. If the government don't take this 7.65, you know what I'm saying, then guess what? The employer can add that 7.65 because guess what? The employer going to get that 7.65 took in some kind of way. So if you take this out, guess what? The employer can put this up and he wouldn't feel so bad with giving somebody a raise. You see how Joe Biden be like, they got to pay their fair share, they got to pay this and they got to pay that. Why? When you're taking these big ass chunks of payroll taxes out of them, and then you keep on saying, well, the Social Security program going to be broken this many years. Huh? Why the fuck am I paying on something that's going to be broke in a couple of years? Does that even make sense? It don't make sense. You got to come up with something better than that. You got to come up with something better than that. It don't make sense what you're saying right now. Right? We want companies to pay their fair share and all that old shit right there. Well, guess what? Eliminate this payroll tax. The Social Security was crippling motherfuckers. It ain't no good, right? And come up with a different plan and eliminate this shit. And I bet you this shit will raise. And the employer can offer more money because he wouldn't be crippled with paying medical and this and that and all kind of other shit. So the government getting people away, then they fine your ass for not cooperating. We want more money now. We want another 15%.
So in reality, many workers pay nearly the full 15.3% toward this tax. And everyone is on the hook for the same percentage. But the wealthy? Once someone earns more than about $130,000 a year, The money they make beyond that isn't subject to the Social Security tax.
Huh? Because you don't have to pay into a saving money, right? So so should they be penalized for that? Because they made money at some point, they don't get hit with the Social Security tax because they don't have to pay into their Social Security or their retirement? Is that wrong? Should they be penalized for that? No, they shouldn't. But liberals want to penalize them for that, right? You make too much money, right? And you don't pay the Social Security shit, right? Which goes to the government. We need that. You're not paying your fair share.
So claiming that there's some cutoff is absurd just on the level, because that's not how auditing happens.
It's capped. That means the rich pay a really small portion of their income toward payroll taxes. And poor people in the middle class pay way more.
Now, you may still feel the rich should pay more. After all, they have so much. But let's remember the facts. The top 1% of Americans, that's those who earn about $300,000 a year.
That's not all that much.
Year, pay 34%, more than a third of all income taxes.
Add payroll taxes onto this chart, and it starts to flatten out.
Add to that, it's very difficult to shake down really rich people because, first of all, they tend to do legal deductions. I know people don't want to hear this.
Especially the Biden administration. They don't want to hear this. Go after all these people, these rich people, and they doing legal deductions, right? All these people doing legal deductions, right? And if you do get something out of their ass, it's very minuscule. It's very minor. What do you think they're going to do after that? They're going to stop? And they find out all these people who make all this money been doing shit damn near by the books, and all the people who were under 400,000 wasn't, and all hundreds of thousands of dollars. Who you think they finna go after? Yo, broke ass.
The last type of taxes we're going to look at are the taxes we pay when we buy stuff.
Right? Consumer taxes, right? Now, this was the killer, right? Now, you see how the chart is right now, right? You see how the chart is right now, right? This person right here, this person right here, this person right here. But watch how they twist it, and they're not wrong, but they're also not right, right? Consumer taxes, the things you buy for goods, right? Cigarettes, beer, Jordans, t-shirts, bread, hamburgers, right? Everybody pay taxes. But what they're going to say, and what's right, this person going to pay higher percentage of taxes of this person, right? Because if this person spent $100 and the taxes on that $100 is $20 extra, it's not going to hurt him. But it's going to hurt this person right here. That $20 is going to hurt him, you know what I'm saying? Because it's $20 extra from that $100. So if he made $300, right, and he had to spend $120 and $100, and they tax him $20, of course it's going to hurt him. More is going to hurt him, because if he's making $1 billion, that $20 ain't going to really hurt him. So this is where the consumption taxes go up, right? This person got to pay tax on damn everything, right? T-shirts, $5 extra, right? Cigarettes, $3 extra. Beer, $2 extra. Kids' hats, you know what I'm saying? $2 extra. Meat at the stove, you know what I'm saying? $1 something extra, right? Potato chips, whatever it may be, right? This person got to pay extra on all that, right? And the taxes is killing him. It's not hurting this person the same. But it's not this person's fault either. What you gonna do? You gonna tax this person? Like, okay, if we're gonna go up on consumer tax, right? If you make over $1 billion every time you buy something, we're gonna hit you with this many taxes so you can be even with this person as consumer taxes. You know what I'm saying? So if you make $1 billion every time you buy something on your credit card, we're gonna hit your ass with a couple of $1,000s. That's the only way you can even up consumer taxes, to make this person hurt more than that person, or just as even. Because any other thing, this person don't pay this person don't pay no property tax, no corporate tax, no estate tax. He don't pay none of that shit, right? This person does. He just don't pay no Social Security tax. He don't pay no Medicare. He don't pay none of that other shit that this person have to pay. And he can't pay the shit that this person pay. That's not wrong. It's just life.
For example, let's say you're looking to buy a t-shirt. When you check out, you pay a sales tax, which is a percentage of its cost. And sales taxes apply to most things: furniture, toilet paper, laundry detergent.
but they work with lots of expensive tax lawyers who work around the Byzantine tax code that Congress stupidly created to legally get their taxes down to 10, 15.
To legally get it down, right? There's a lot of politicians do that because a lot of them in that 300,000 tax bracket, right? Why are you gonna tax yourself and you got to vote on it more than you have to, right? So a lot of them in that 300 and that so-called 5% or 10% of the income, right? So they're not going to tax themselves. That would be stupid. They're not going to put no laws in to cripple their motherfucking self. They're going to try to benefit from it.
For some items like beer and gasoline, there are additional taxes that get incorporated into the price tag before you even get to the store.
There's multiple presidents now, like Mitt Romney, Donald Trump, legally are paying very small percentages of their tax rates.
These are called consumption taxes, and we all pay the same rate on the things we buy, regardless of how rich we are. Now, you might think that since rich people usually buy more things and more expensive things, they pay a larger percentage of their income toward these taxes. But relative to how much money they have, the stuff they buy and the taxes they pay on that stuff take up a relatively small portion of their income.
Huh? I mean, that's true, ain't it? That is very true, because if I buy a car and it costs me a couple of extra $1,000 in taxes, right? It's going to be a whole lot hurting me. It's going to hurt me a whole lot more than a rich person buying a car and he pay a couple of $1,000 in taxes. That couple of $1,000 going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt him, but that's not his fault.
A lot of lower income business owners just make up stuff or lie or make mistakes, and they tend to get caught up in that because those are lies.
Meanwhile, everyone, even people with almost no money, needs to buy certain basic things to survive. And for poor people, those basic things and the taxes that come with them cost them almost everything they earn.
And those are not working around a system that's flawed to start with from its complexity. So there's a lot of easy busts at the low end. They don't fight back with a team.
It's a lot of easy busts at the low end where they don't fight back, right? They don't have a team of lawyers. They don't have people fighting them in court. They don't have specialists looking at them, right? And making sure their taxes is okay and making sure every I is dotted and every T is crossed, right? They don't have that. So how you make money? You go to the people at the lower end of the income tax pole.
A team of attorneys anyway.
So if we chart how much of their income each of these people pays in consumption taxes, we can see that poor people pay a much larger portion.
In consumption taxes, they pay a lot more. That's not this person's fault, right? It's not this person's fault. He make a little bit more money, so the income, so the taxes on things, right? Well, look, cigarette, beer, or whatever he paid, right, is not hurting him as more. It's not this person's fault. So this is the chart they use to say people are not paying their fair share because a lot of poor people getting broke off of consumer taxes and consumer goods, right? That's how they judge the economy. The consumer goods, we're going to look at and see what the consumers are buying, right? Well, how much taxes on a consumer good? Well, this person is paying the same amount of taxes, right? Now, this person was paying more taxes. Consumer goods would be a hell of a. If he was paying more on consumer taxes, this shit would be way the fuck up here. But because this person's paid the same amount of taxes as this person on buying shit, the taxes stay the same. So the consumer tax ain't really shit. They're not getting no money, no extra money from this rich person off of consumer taxes. So they got to find some way to make that up.
Yeah, I'm not against fixing the money problems at the IRS, but it has nothing to do with inflation. In fact, hiring anybody is already inflationary. We're in a 3.5% unemployment rate situation where wages are spiraling out of control.
Now look at the chart. Since you put consumer taxes on there, look at this, right? But you put income tax on here, right? I don't have to pay no money on income tax, right? You look at corporate tax, they're not paying no. I mean, they corporate tax, they nowhere on here. The property tax, very seldom somewhere on property. Way down here, right? Payroll tax, look at their payroll. They don't have to pay no payroll tax, right? Consumer, look at the consumer goods. Look at the consumer shit. Huh? The richer you are, the less it hurts. So why don't the government do something about taxes on consumer goods? Why don't they do that? That'll probably help people save more money. You don't even have to tax the rich then, because you put the consumer goods and you stop the taxes on this. Guess what? These people down here can buy more stuff and add to the economy a whole lot more. And you take off all them consumer taxes, they profit a damn near double. They spend half their money on consumer taxes. Half their money. Take off the consumer taxes. Guess what? They taxes drop way back down here.
When we put these taxes together, suddenly we see a big change. The chart shows us that this line from before is a lie.
This should have been done during the Obama administration when there was high unemployment and they were looking for projects to create employment. You don't wait for the lowest unemployment in decades and then go on a government FDR hiring spree.
Think about that, right? Think about what he's saying. Joe Biden is bragging on the economy, right? He's bragging about how the deficit is lowering, right? He's bragging about how good we're doing in the country, in the best position it is. You gonna hire IRS agents at this time? It's people have to come out of retirement and go back to work because the economy is because inflation is so bad. That's why you got these high ass numbers that you so-called bragging on, because people coming out of retirement because they can't live off of a set living no more, right? So they got to come out of retirement and get extra jobs. But with that point, we had one of the lowest unemployment in years, what you so-called, in history, what you called, right? We go the country and America is doing good. We're back. So what you claim? So you mean to tell me after all this good news, you got this Build Back Better shit fit to go on, right? You got the economy and all these jobs fit to be created. Right in the middle of this, you want to hire 87,000 IRS agents to investigate people? And the economy is doing great, in your words? Do that even make sense?
That America's tax system as a whole isn't very progressive. Instead, it's mostly flat. Poor people pay about the same portion of their income in taxes as rich people. And this guy, this billionaire, is paying a smaller portion than everyone else.
Yeah, in consumer taxes. Huh? In consumer taxes. Not in corporate taxes, not in property taxes. He paying way more than everybody else. He paying 5 or 6 times way more than this person, right? Way more than this person. Way more than any other class in the arena, right? This rich person paying more than income taxes than anybody else, double. So he's not paying more taxes. He's just paying more consumer taxes, which everybody pays. What, you gonna make consumer taxes go by class now?
Even the poorest.
So that part of it is completely stupid. And also, again, if you're finding money abroad from these supposed rich people, that's not going to take years anyway. That's not current. Like, the current spending is going on by consumers. If you want to hit that,
consumers. The current spending is going on by consumers, right? The consumer taxes. A lot of government not getting them taxes, right? Because guess what? The consumer taxes, how government get them taxes, they tax the company, they tax the good. If you want a business here and you're going to sell products here, we need to put a tax on here, right? So the government getting paid with consumer taxes, because guess what? That whoever owned that business is going to put a tax on there to pay it for the consumer goods. And they're getting paid property taxes and income taxes, all from that business right there. About 4 or 5 different taxes. The average person at the bottom of the toll pole ain't got to pay them taxes. But the government still want to go up on them taxes.
Inflation reduction plan would be a tax on those consumers.
If you just look at certain types of taxes, it's natural to assume that rich people pay a bigger tax burden in the US, and that poor people aren't exactly paying their fair share. But a more complete look at the bigger picture challenges that.
Maybe a payroll tax increase to fix the bankrupt Social Security system. It's not...
The bankrupt Social Security system. How is the Social Security system bankrupt and they taking money out of your check every motherfucking week, every motherfucking paycheck? Then they say it's going towards your Social Security. Well, what if it's bankrupt? What if they say we ain't got no money? All that work you done, all that money they took out, but we ain't got no money to pay you at the end of your when you done paid your obligation, when you done paid your shit, when they done took money out of your check, you know what I'm saying, for your retirement, then you get to that point, they say, guess what? We done got no money in Social Security no more. We can't pay you. You got to go back to work. You mean all this money that so-called I was saving, all that money that y'all took out of my check, all the taxes, I mean, y'all ain't lived up to y'all end of the bargain? I lived up to mine for 40 fucking years. You can't live up to yours? We're bankrupt. We don't have no money.
Going on audits of companies that are people that are offshoring money, maybe 3 years. Like, that's a good, noble cause to be done. Again, I would do it when we had high unemployment.
And it suggests that if we're looking for a group that isn't paying their fair share, we might be looking on the wrong end.
But that's not an anti-inflation program. This program, as it now sits, is inflationary in the short run. You could argue any tax collections that would happen because of these new auditors would be disinflationary because you're sucking in money that wasn't getting taxed. But that's a long-term plan. It's got nothing to do with the current situation of high inflation.
All right, so the Gap one, anybody own a laundromat, they have one that will calculate based on your water bill how many loads will wash at your laundromat.
It doesn't. You know, you look at those numbers that you broke out and the messaging that's coming out of the Democrats in Congress saying, hey, this will only apply to the wealthy. We're only taxing the wealthy.
And before I left, I had the sense of mind to make a copy. This is the little badge I used to flip out at people and say, give me your books and records.
Huh? Be prepared for that. If it's 87,000 IRS agents that's going to be out there, they're going to be everywhere. They're going to be like the police. You're looking out, Slaphead. They're going to be like the police. They're going to be like Miami Vice, Slaphead. You're going to be able to make a TV show out of it. Hey, Slaphead, watch this. It's finna get deep, Slaphead, on the real reason. I saved the best for last. I saved the best for last because now we finna get into the real reason, Slaphead, on why they want to hire the IRS. We're finna get into the real reason in about 2 more minutes.
Give me your bank statements. Give me all your credit cards.
Well, that's only 1% to 2% of all taxpayers.
You know, and, you know, people, okay, here, you know, even the counties, I go to the county, do it. I go just about anywhere and flip this little thing out. And
you hear that? Flip that little thing out. Who do that? The police do that. Detectives do that. Right? Flip that thing out. I need your information, right? The police, see the fear that she's preaching this back in the days. And people still doing that. They're still scared of that badge, the IRS badge, right? They're scared of it. More scared of that than the FBI. More scared of that than the DEA. Flip that IRS badge because you know you can fight the FBI like, oh, what y'all got me for? Y'all said I done this, I done that. Okay, but when the IRS come out to you, it's a whole different story. And Joe Biden, I'm finna tell you why Joe Biden finna send them after you. It's way deeper than what you think.
Get whatever I want.
So why in the world do they need $80 billion and 87,000 new hires in order to go after 1% to 2% of taxpayers?
You know, there's a lot of power nuts out there doing that, guys. Y'all know it. Half of you already know about it.
Their math absolutely does not add up.
It has my picture up here, and it says, Sherry Jackson, whose signature and picture appear above, is duly commissioned as Internal Revenue Agent and has authority to perform all duties conferred upon such officers under all laws.
Agent and officer. You hear that? Agent and officer. You mean you got 2 authoritative names in your title? Agent and officer.
And regulations administered by the Internal Revenue Service, including the authority to investigate.
Investigate. Agent, officer, investigate. That badge give her the authority to do all of that. The police can't even do that.
And require and receive information as to all matters relating to such laws and regulations.
Which should be frightening and concerning because this means exactly what you said. They're coming after us. They're coming after entrepreneurs. They're coming after small business owners. They're coming after our middle-class, hardworking Americans. There's no question about that.
And it has SER and some other numbers and an A. And based on this Internal Revenue Manual, A means administrative.
A mean administrative, right? She got all these positions, but they really not really shit. The power is in the badge, right? All that shit is to scare people. It's really a fake tactic, right? She really saying I'm a fake officer because right now it doesn't say it doesn't say none of that shit. And if you go back and look at the law, so really I'm scaring the shit out of people with a fake badge because we know the whole IRS system is fake. So I'm arresting people with fake badges and fake authority given to me by the government.
So I'm an administrative clerk out there on the front line.
I'm an administrative clerk. She's nothing but a clerk, but she, authority, investigate, this, that, but she's a clerk. So you scared of a clerk because a clerk have the authority given to the government to act as an investigator, an agent, an officer, all that rolled into one. But all she is really a clerk. That's the game.
And I'm an administrative clerk with a non-enforcement pocket commission.
So the American people were forced to lower their standard of living.
Did you hear that? If you really think about that, America was, when we was forced to pay the banks and the taxes, even now, we have to lower our standard of living to help the government run the country. Think about it. We got to lower our standard because we got to say, we got to work a certain amount of money, a week's, an hour, or sell a certain amount of products, a quota, right, to give to the government to help them out on the loans that they borrow from. We have to lower our standard because if we didn't have to help them, we could buy more clothes, pay more bills, have more freedom. But since we're trapped in paying them, we have to lower our standards. Think about that for a second. Let me run that one more time. Think about that. We have to lower our standards of living to help the government. That's the whole thing. The less you make, so that means the less you make, the more it's going to cost you to help the government pay their loans back. So that's why the government going after the rich. They want the rich to help them pay their loans back.
Front lines. And I'm an administrative clerk with a non-enforcement pocket commission.
So the American people were forced to lower their standard of living and pay a graduated income tax to the government, just so the government could give these bankers more profits.
They said, look at the back of it. So I'm looking at the back of this notice of levy, and it says Section 6331, levy and distraint. And then it says B and C. And I'm thinking, it starts off with B? What happened to A?
What happened to A? They hid A like parts in the Bible. We're going to hide the truth. We don't want to let them know the truth. And ain't nobody asked them, why do it start with B? Where the hell is A at? A is the legal part. That's why when you sign it, you sign over your constitutional rights because you don't even know what A is. You don't even know what the option A is. Why are they going to start with option B? Ain't nobody question where the fuck is A at. You do it every year.
President Woodrow Wilson, who signed the Federal Reserve Act into law, later said, in regret, I am a most unhappy man. I have unwittingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation is now controlled by its system of credit.
Huh? A great industrial nation. We was great industrial nation. We was great. We didn't need no credit. We didn't think about that. We was America. Who the fuck we need to borrow money from? Now our whole system is based on a system of credit. When we was an industrial nation, think about that. They got to switch over from that. We are no longer a government by free opinion, no longer a government by conviction and the vote of the majority. This is Woodrow Wilson. This is the president who wrote this. Good looking out, Miss Black Barbie, on a donation. Be like Miss Black Barbie and donate. Miss Black Barbie, you know what I'm saying? She loved my videos. Be like her and donate. Thank you, Miss Black Barbie. But look at this. We are no longer governed by a free opinion. Do Joe Biden look like he's governed by a free opinion? Hell to the no.
We are no longer a government by free opinion, no longer a government by conviction and the vote of the majority.
None of that. We're ruled. This is Woodrow Wilson, 1919. He said, I sold my soul. He felt guilty. I sold my soul, and America never be sane. Because guess what? The government don't run the country no more. The bankers do.
But a government by the opinion and duress of a small group of dominant men.
So I looked up A, and here's A. And it says levy may be made upon the accrued salary or wages of any officer, employee, or elected official of the United States, the District of Columbia, or any agency or instrumentality of the United States or the District of Columbia by serving a notice of levy. I'm thinking, but that's not most people.
There's certainly like nobody, not too many people watching this video. You're not obligated to pay taxes because you don't fall under that.
That's not the person that works at AT&T or Bell South or Coca-Cola. That's not most people.
The Federal Reserve was created by Congress in 1913.
Created by Congress in 1913. Created.
And it was entrusted with the power granted originally to the Congress by the U.S. Constitution to coin money and regulate the value thereof.
Ooh.
Aren't people noticing that the A isn't on here? Aren't they curious about it? Why are they doing it? But this is the straw that broke the camel's back. The Federal Reserve is not federal. How many of you did not know before today that the Federal Reserve isn't federal? If you didn't, don't be shy. If you didn't know before today that the Federal Reserve isn't federal, raise your hand.
Actually, I can't stand the IRS. Okay? They're evil.
A lot of us knew the Federal Reserve wasn't federal. We knew Washington, D.C. ain't part of the D.C. No, the federal government don't work for the fucking United States. They're a separate entity. A lot of us knew that. But they got different federal things, right? Part of it is the United States and part of it ain't the United States. We know that too.
Most people don't know that. 9 out of 10 people that I asked off the street don't understand that the Federal Reserve is a non-auditable private banking cartel.
Then you layer on top of that what you just mentioned, their criminal division with the power of enforcement of a gun.
What? You mean the IRS got a criminal division with the power enforcement of a gun? What do you mean? What are you trying to say? You mean the Democrats who people were saying trying to have a new form of policing, right? Defunded the police, and they're going to put in IRS agents with guns? How many of them 87,000, right, IRS agents are going to be having guns? Because remember Joe Biden talking about we finna go after the criminals, we finna go after the cheaters, we finna go after all of that, right? So is this just the cheaters that make over $400,000? Or the cheaters that's going everywhere that you finna go after, right? Because now the IRS carry guns. So you mean to tell me you're gonna put 87,000 possibly armed IRS agents on the street to go after people's money?
Essentially.
You know what they say, there's only two things certain in life, death and taxes.
If there was known law and I wasn't afraid of them coming and taking me to jail, absolutely I wouldn't pay taxes.
It has its own special agents, which are officially referred to as Criminal Investigation Special Agents.
And how we have already seen, it's not a theory that the IRS has also, like many of these other federal agencies, abused their power to go after political opponents. We have seen them do this.
These guys do what they do well. Over 90% of those they prosecute for federal tax violations are convicted.
90% conviction rate. So if they come after you, it's a 90% chance your ass is going to jail. We're talking about crime. We're not talking about you cheated on this, you cheated on that. If they come after you with their guns and their criminal division, which Joe Biden keep on saying, we're going after those who cheated, we're going after those who crime and all this other shit who cheated the system. These are the people that are sitting after them, supposedly. Agents with guns. And remember what the lady said, they had all the rights to. There was officers, agents, they had the power to investigate, arrest. Huh? 87,000 officers, potential officers with guns on the street, right? All put on the street, all trained by the Biden administration. You gonna trust that?
So chances are, if one of these agents comes knocking at your door, you're most likely going away for a while.
Most people associate this kind of training with the FBI, Secret Service, but not the IRS.
The law is that guy that wears that badge and a gun. That's the one that puts you in jail. That's the law.
It's the kind of training you would typically associate with the FBI or the Secret Service, but not the IRS.
They are the kind of accountants that are prepared for anything. With Lois Lerner under the Obama administration.
They are prepared for anything, right? Remember, we had this one before with the IRS, right? Weaponizing themselves against conservatives, right? What do you think these IRS agents going to do, right? Who do you think they fit to go after, right? That means if it's a terrorist organization, right, you can defund that organization financially, then go after them physically with the same agency. The same agency can defund you and jail you. You don't need the police. You don't need the FBI. You got one agency that does everything, right? Because they was hired by the federal government. And guess who owned the money? The federal government.
There were no consequences there, and she was directly targeting blatantly conservative organizations.
This is their current badge. As you can see, it says Department of Treasury on it because
look at this. Criminal Investigation, Department of Treasury, U.S. Internal Revenue Service. Special Agent. They got all this on the fucking badge. Criminal Investigation, all this on the fucking badge. They coming for your ass.
the IRS falls under the Department of Treasury.
And so this dangerous trend that we are seeing that happened gradually over years, but everything from the IRS to Department of Homeland Security, their counterterrorism division, the FBI, the Department of Justice, we are seeing how they are more blatantly in broad daylight being weaponized to target political opponents of those in power and anyone who dares to dissent or question or challenge their actions and policies.
You don't want them coming after you.
When you think about money and taxes, you probably think about accountants, audits, the IRS.
A lot of them are even CPAs, which, in case you didn't know, stands for Certified Public Accountant.
Certified Public Accountants with guns. Ha! Certified Public Accountant. That means we account for the public, anywhere in the public. Hamburger stands, gas stations, liquor stores, 99-cent store, mom and pop shops. We are accountants to the public. You know what the fuck that means? A certified public accountant. That means that's not a private account. That's not a personal account. That's a public accountant everywhere. Come on, these are the police. This is not the IRS. This is the police. Certified public accountant that can arrest your ass on the spot.
You probably don't think about this.
Due to the increased use of automation for financial records, CI special agents are trained to recover computer evidence. Along with their financial investigative skills, they use specialized forensic technology to recover financial data that may have been encrypted, password protected, or hidden by other electronic means.
So guess what? These motherfuckers are nerds with guns. They don't come up in there, raid your shit, get all your computers, right? And then they don't have to send them nowhere. They're going to break all your computers down their motherfucking self. We're going to find out everything, right? They are the complete one-stop shop. This is why Joe Biden's sicking them on your ass. It's not for your taxes. They is the complete ones. They can investigate, they can arrest, they can shoot, they can kill. They have a license to kill too. They protect it. They can go through all your electronic shit. Who was that? We got, damn, it's a hard name right here. Who was this? Rans A7 IROX. Good looking out. First ever super chat ever. I love this show. Good looking out. That's what I'm talking about, Rans. A7 IROX Z. Nigga, you got a hard name, but it's all right with me, Rans. You all right with me. First donation ever. I feel Rez, I'm finna fucking cry, man. I got Brad's first fucking donation, man. I feel fucking special, man. Oh my God, man, you gonna make me cry, man. Come on, man. What, you should have done this at the end of the show, Rance. You gonna make a nigga cry. Because the IRS finna come take half of my shit, Rance. They finna come take it, right? But this is crazy. These people are everything. They the one-stop shop. If you name it, they can do it. They can go after your money. They can do criminal shit, right? They're going to be the people, right, that when you say they're funding protests, they're funding terrorists, they're funding this, they're going to come after the money. Then they're going to come after your ass.
Here's another fun fact. IRS special agents are the only employees within the IRS authorized to carry and use firearms. They receive training in handguns, shotguns, and rifles.
Woo, handguns, shotguns, and rifles. Look at these motherfuckers, these tight-ass pants, right? They train for everything. Handguns, shotguns, and rifles. Look, you mean to tell me these people right here, the IRS, right, who's supposed to be fucking with taxes, look this motherfucking dangerous? Huh? The people that supposed to be going after the rich people, look this motherfucking dangerous? The people who supposed to be going after people that's not paying their fair share is carrying this many motherfucking guns, going through this motherfucking training? You think they finna go after, look, you think they finna go after rich people like this? They get their ass sued. Get down on the ground. We found out you wasn't paying your taxes. These are criminal investigators, right? If you cheated on your taxes and they say you cheated on it criminally, they're going at you. They're even going after the criminals because they want the criminals to pay taxes too. Did you know that? If you selling pussy, they want you to pay taxes. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. I'm finna let you know. I'm finna show you right now.
It's a training day for these agents of the Internal Revenue Service CI Division.
If they're working undercover, they may carry and use pretty much any common firearm.
Huh? You mean to tell me the IRS can work undercover? Huh? When have you ever heard of an IRS agent working undercover? Freeze, nigga, this is the IRS. You know what? I've been being with your ass making these hamburgers all day, nigga, and you ain't paid your fair share in taxes. You under arrest. I've been flipping these hamburgers and shit, and you done cheated on your taxes. These motherfuckers can all look. You ain't understanding the power they got. They don't have no power, specific power, but they got all the power. They're not specifically, they assigned to one thing. They're assigned to everything. Criminal, money, taxes, electronics. In the IRS, I didn't go this far, but they also got an external division where they do soft crimes overseas and all of those shit. They're not just local. They global. Huh? They the global police. They're coming after your ass. Bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Criminal investigations, it's its own operating division within IRS. They receive extensive training in law, in the application of law, in executing enforcement operations, in the use of firearms, and other related topics.
Huh? They some bad sons of bitches. I'm glad they didn't break in Trump house. Probably with some of them agents too, right? But they lucky. The IRS probably breaking in Trump New York house. They got the FBI breaking in this house, and they're gonna have the fucking IRS police breaking in this other house. Watch what I tell you.
IRS special agents also execute arrest and search warrants.
Huh? Who do arrest and search warrants? Huh? You mean to tell me the IRS do arrest and search warrants? Huh? So when Biden get these 87,000 people the power to be IRS agents and they come to your house, they can do an arrest and they can do a search warrant. They can search your shit. Search for what? You the IRS. What are you searching for? Huh? I thought you was computer shit. What are you arresting for? I thought you was the computer motherfucker. I thought you was the income tax person. Cheating on tax. Now you're raiding my house and searching all my shit? Where'd I come in at? Okay. I ain't mad at you.
It's a no-brainer. You wouldn't pay it.
I wouldn't pay it.
Why would anybody? Because they, that's what they tell us we must do, else we're bad Americans.
Would you pay it?
No.
Would you pay it?
No.
Why would you pay taxes if you don't have to?
What if I told you that all your money that the income tax that's paid into the income tax, just goes to pay the interest on the national debt?
All the income tax money you pay, it only goes on paying the interest of the national debt. That's all. That's all. You're not paying for shit. All the money Joe Biden trying to get is trying to pay off the national debt. And who owns the national debt? The bankers. It's not going towards no infrastructure. It's not going towards no motherfucking it's not going to no motherfucking homeless. It's not going to no Medicare. It's not going to no water. It's not going to no clean green. It's not going to no climate change. It's not going to none of that shit. Because they already bought the money. It's going towards paying these motherfuckers back. Why you think Donald Trump didn't borrow shit? What? We're going to earn it. We're going to make this shit. Joe Biden borrowed. Oh, we need money for this. We need trillions for this. Guess who we getting the money from? The bankers. Guess who got to pay that money back? Us. Every dollar you get is not going on any fucking thing Joe Biden did sign. Or not going any fucking thing that Congress did sign. All of it. 100% of your money goes on the national debt. 100% of your income taxes, not 10%, not 20%, 100% of your income taxes goes on the national debt. Nothing more, nothing less.
Do you have any fear of the IRS?
Not really, because I'm Canadian.
IRS special agents.
And right now, many of them are paying virtually nothing.
Technical surveillance, building entry.
Technical surveillance, building entry. What do you mean? These are their jobs. Technical, come on, surveillance, building entry. This is their job. This is who Joe Biden is hired. They got all of this.
Non-lethal defensive.
Non-lethal defense tactics training. They're gonna kick your ass. They worse than the Army. The Army getting critical race theory. They learn how to kick people's ass in hand-to-hand combat. What the fuck you mean the IRS got to do training to whoop somebody's ass for? For what? Huh? Is they gonna have any of these no choke laws and no laws that everybody else got? Do they follow the same laws? Since they don't work for the United States, they work for the federal government. Do they have the same shit? They don't work for our federal government. They don't work for our shit. They work for the bankers, federal government. But they have the right to do all this old shit. But you know Joe Biden going to incorporate them.
Tactics training and serve as dignitary protection staff and
Dignitary protection staff. Who the fuck is the IRS protecting? I'm talking about on some physical shit, on some, they need to come with it like that. They came up with the Miami Vice. They came up with they need to come up with the IRS police show. They made Miami Vice, New York Undercover. They made all that shit. IRS got to be next. They more lethal than all these sons of bitches. They could be undercover in so much shit.
and air marshal roles.
Air marshal. You hear this? Air marshal. Where in the fuck do the IRS? They ready for war. You just hired a fucking army. These motherfuckers is ready for war. Come on.
I didn't even know the IRS had a criminal investigative unit before I started. So I think a lot of people would be surprised that IRS has criminal investigators.
So if you're getting paid under the table, if you're a drug dealer, like as long as it's income,
So you mean to tell me, and this something y'all didn't know, it's been legal to sell. They've been having certain laws in certain states that you have to put a label on your drugs if you want to sell them. That way you can pay taxes, right? And if you get arrested and you didn't pay your taxes, you got to pay back taxes. But if you pay your taxes, you ain't got to pay them taxes because you don't pay your taxes before you sold the drugs, right? They want to know, right? I bet a lot of people didn't know that. You can pay taxes on drugs, and guess what? They're going to bring it back. They have brought it back. Look up the stolen property, IRS stolen property, right? You're paying taxes on your drugs and stolen property.
need to pay income tax to the federal government.
This year, IRS Criminal Investigations commemorates 100 years of service.
It's easy money, but easy come, easy go.
Right? She was selling drugs and she wasn't paying her taxes and she got caught. And guess what? Now she got to pay back taxes for selling all the drugs. Huh?
When this woman, who we're not identifying, was looking for some extra cash, she went about it the wrong way.
It was formed in 1919 with the mission of finding and stopping criminal tax fraud, which at the time was one of America's favorite pastimes.
It was going through the mail, and the mail lady smelled it and called the police.
She picked up a package. Inside were 13 pounds of marijuana. When the police arrested her, she was charged with attempted trafficking. But now that she's out of jail, it's the civil portion of her punishment that's hanging over her every move.
Anything that's in your name, they have the capability of taking.
Tax illegal drugs. He recently filed legislation that would require a tax stamp for drug packets large enough to supply more than one user.
Huh? A tax on drugs. So if you buying drugs in certain states, this is a law, and it's been in effect for years, right? And people don't know about these laws, right? If you pay taxes on certain drugs, you can consider them legal, basically, because you're paying taxes on something. And how can you arrest me on something I'm paying taxes on?
A dealer could pay cash for them anonymously at a Department of Revenue office.
Huh? You can pay for the drug stamp. You got to have a stamp on your drugs, though, right? You can't be out there selling drugs, right? You gotta come to us, and you gotta buy the stamps for your drugs, and that way we'll know it's your drug. We'll need to know who you are. We need to know where you at, where your dope spot at. All we need to know is it stamping your drugs, right? And give us the money before you sell your drug. This is a law in lots of different states that people don't even know about. We'll give you a stamp.
Anyone caught with unstamped drugs would owe delinquent taxes on top of their criminal charges.
Huh? So if you don't pay it, right? That's like not paying your tax on anything else, right? That's like if you've been working under the table and you ain't been paying your taxes, right? It's like any other thing, right? If you don't pay your dope taxes, your ass is going to jail. Huh? And you're gonna get fined.
This was the age of bootlegging, the Purple Gang, Al Capone, organized crime.
Because remember, they got away. They let people get away with it the first time. Al Capone. Remember, all that shit was about evading taxes, tax evasion, your bootleg and shit like that, right? All that shit was about tax evasion, robbing banks and shit like that, right? They're not fit to have that shit again. You want to bootleg some shit? You want to cook some dope up? Give us our money.
Income from illegal activities is considered taxable income.
Over the past 100 years, many things in America have changed, but some things have not.
In North Carolina, when you have a certain amount of any drug, you're supposed to go to the Department of Revenue and get one of these, a tax stamp. But most people don't know or just don't.
Huh? Most people don't know. When you get some dope, you got to go down to the dope spot, to the IRS, and get your ass a tax stamp. Huh? So anybody over here, you got some cousins or some people selling drugs, say, hey, man, don't be out here selling drugs illegal. Go down there to the IRS and to the revenue thing and get your ass some dope stamps. You can get them in your name. You can get a little Pookie on the motherfucker, a little Ray Ray. You can say you got the Blue Flash special, whatever the fuck you want to do. But make your dope legal, man. Don't be out here selling illegal dope. That's wrong, man. You fucking up your community. You know what I'm saying? But you're not giving the government nothing for fucking up your community. We know cigarettes and beer and alcohol and all this old greasy ass hamburger. We know that fuck up the community too. But you fucking up the community and you're not giving nothing to the government. Give back, man. Give back.
For us, it's all about, obviously, the greed. Almost everyone commits a crime because at the end of the day, there's money to be made.
You can...
Miranda sent that money to be made. Good looking out, Miranda. Has Hunter been getting his dope stamps? Hell no. Hunter gonna have his own special brand of dope, right? He gonna have his own shit called the presidential. Huh? You can make your dope legal, Miranda.
You can report illegal income in two ways. If you stole money, received a bribe, or were hired to kill someone, you would report that on line 8 of Schedule 1 where it says other income.
Huh? So if you're a killer, say, look, I killed a couple of motherfuckers in my, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know who, and y'all got to make a guess. But I got paid to kill a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. So I'm gonna write it on this line of an income tax return, huh? I done sold this amount of drugs. I done sold this amount of pussy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put it on this line on my income tax return. You know what I'm saying? Because my pussy is money, huh? I gonna stamp this dope and give it to Hunter Biden. Because Hunter Biden, you know what I'm saying? This is a Hunter Biden. This is my grandmother's special, Hunter. Take it. It's called Crip Walk.
For thousands of IRS employees working in the business divisions, the computer and calculator are the weapons of choice, tracking people who cheat.
The IRS says illegal income, including income from dealing drugs, must be reported on your tax return.
Because,
So the IRS, if they can investigate, they can arrest, they can do all that. Guess what? If they saying you gotta report the dope on your tax return, they can investigate you for selling dope and arrest you for cheating on your taxes. These motherfuckers gonna be cold. Huh? The same division. They ain't gotta arrest you for selling dope. They can arrest you for not paying taxes. We know you out here selling drugs, but nigga, you ain't been paying taxes. You going to jail. Where your stamps at? You cheating on your stamps. You buying too much dope and you ain't they paying. Look, if you pay taxes on it, it's the law. Google it if you don't believe me. It's the law.
Tax fraud is not a victimless crime.
No, I had no clue.
In this woman's case, she needed a stamp for marijuana and would have had to pay $3.50 per gram to get it.
Right? It done went lowered down. $3. That's a lot of fucking money, right? But it probably done went lower now. You know what I'm saying? You probably get your weed for a little cheaper, and you probably get your dope for a little cheaper, right? The price on grams and ounces and shit like that done went down. You get some deals on buying and selling dope now. You know what I'm saying? On the license, you get a wholesale license.
When you cheat the IRS, you're cheating everybody, your neighbors and family, because that money is used to run this country.
There are about 453 grams per pound, so 350 times 453 times 13 for each pound comes out to more than $20,000 in taxes.
That's because she didn't pay up front. If you'd have paid up front, you'd have paid that $20,000 in taxes. You know what I'm saying? You could have sold that weed legally, right? You could have sold that weed legally, but you didn't do it. So they need their fucking money. And guess what? The FBI, like he said, it's a victimless crime, right? I mean, it's not a victimless crime, right? You're cheating the system. So guess what? We're going to come after you. You're selling dope and not paying your taxes, we're coming after you.
There are 2,500 criminal investigation field agents, which takes an accountant on a very different career path.
But if you earn money from an illegal business, like a money laundering operation, you would report that income on Schedule C.
This is an alternative to a traditional accounting job. You're not just a CPA. Now you're taking those accounting skills and applying them to criminal investigations.
You're taking accounting skills and applying them to criminal investigations. Joe Biden is a cold motherfucker, right? But he telling you this IRS, but he not telling you they are IRS agents, and he's saying he's going after certain people, right? He's not going to hire. I mean, I'm pretty sure he got enough people to do the computer work. He ain't got enough people to go out and he said physically arrest people. Go out and Google it if you don't believe me. Joe Biden say the IRS agents or whoever fit to physically go out and arrest people. He didn't say IRS agents, but now we know what the fuck he mean when he say they fit to go out the criminals and they're going to be prosecuted and this and that. This is what the fuck he mean. They're coming after you.
Tracking down complex financial crimes.
They don't even have to identify themselves when they get the stamp.
They can't tell us who that person was or where they live or anything.
We just coming in and get the dope stamp. You know what I'm saying? We're going to come in and get the dope stamp. We don't need to know your history. Just let us know you're buying and you're selling dope and you're paying taxes.
There's an exception for drug traffickers, however, as they only get a tax deduction for cost of goods sold. This way, you can take deductions for wages, rent, and other expenses of your business.
Look, I'm selling dope, but I'm paying rent and all this old shit. So you can actually put on your taxes what you're using the dope money for, right? And you got to keep record of it. I'm selling this amount, right? But I'm paying rent on this and that, right? So at the end of the year, you probably get an income tax return on your dope money.
For the men and women of the IRS, over more than 100 years, the mission has not changed.
To me, that's crazy. That's a setup. Anyway, how's anybody gonna walk in and buy a drug tax and then you ain't gonna be looked at?
Like, yeah, go up in there and give me some dope tags. Like we don't. Yeah, we're gonna say you tag. We don't want to know your name. What do you got? What do you need tags for? Oh, I need some shit for some fentanyl. I need some shit for some heroin. I need a couple of rocks and a couple of crystal meth. Get back and tag all that shit. How much fentanyl you need? I got about, let me see. How much fentanyl do I got? I got this much fentanyl right here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to need this many stamps, damn it. You know what I'm saying? I got this much fentanyl. Give it to me, damn it.
Some people probably not confident that if they go down there and get a tax stamp on their drugs, that they're not going to be looked at.
You damn right. We're not confident of that. You tell them, come on down. We're not going to do none of that shit. Nigga, please.
Law enforcement makes a seizure. They report the amount to the Department of Revenue, who then send a list like this one, showing whoever was arrested for the drugs how much they owe. In this woman's case, it started with that $20,000. When she didn't have it, she got hit with another penalty.
$20,000, $8,000 in penalties, and I accrued almost $800 in interest while I was locked up.
Now,
you got to pay all that. You got them the $30,000 worth of bills, right? Because you avoided your taxes and selling dope.
She owes about $29,000. 75% of that would go to the agency that arrested her. For example, last year, Winston-Salem police took in more than $160,000.
I'm not
There's niggas out there paying their taxes on dope. You know what I'm saying? They need that dope money. You know how much stuff they bought with that $160,000 at that police station from the dope money? They bought the they was buying this shit to try to arrest the niggas with. Like, hold on, man. I pay my tax. I'm paying for this shit. I'm paying for these cars. I'm paying for these sirens. Give me up out of these cuffs. I got some sales to go to. I'm paying you motherfuckers rent.
Not ever going to get out from underneath this. Ever. Not unless I win the lottery and become a millionaire.
If you cheat on your taxes, evade your taxes, that you will be caught and held accountable.
All right, take a look here. Here's another.
That same thing what Joe Biden said. Same thing what Joe Biden said. So if you think they're not coming after you, they're coming after you for everything. They're coming after you for drug money. They're coming after the lowest person, right? Because the lowest person, think about this, right? Think about how much the average drug dealer makes without paying any taxes, right? If he makes $100 in a day, that's $100 untaxable money, right? They want everybody. They want the person selling hot dogs on the corner. They want the person selling oranges on the truck. They want the person selling chargers. They want the person selling T-shirts on the corner, socks. They want every piece of money that somebody is making, right? That somebody is making, right? To be accounted for. Every piece. Don't think they feel it's okay. Well, you making this money and you making this amount of money and you only cheating on this amount of taxes, so we ain't fit to come after you. No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. They coming after your ass. Well, that's the show for tonight, for today. Some of y'all tonight, what I'm saying? I got to get ready for a show tonight. So I got to write my joke. I got to perform my joke. And I got to get ready. I got to take me a nap, you know what I'm saying? Because I got a show tonight, you know what I'm saying? But I will be back tomorrow. I don't know what I'm talking about. I got a couple of skits lined up. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I probably will bring Vladimir Putin back because we ain't talking about Vladimir Putin. And I got some New World Order shit that I haven't done. You know what I'm saying? I can edit that. I've been editing for a little while. Liberal world order that I probably do. I don't know if I'm going to do it yet. But anyway, I want to thank y'all for donating. Thank y'all for viewing. And if you really like this video, share. Don't like, share. And if you really like this video, donate. Don't watch, donate. I'm up out this bitch. See y'all on the next one. How I get up out of here. See you on the next one. I'm up out of here.